Do me a favor. Close your eyes. Imagine for a moment you're around a group of people who make you feel uncomfortable, but yet you feel this intense desire to be accepted by them. You begin to ask yourself, am I good enough? And so you wonder, what will they think of me? And suddenly you notice, your heart begins to race, your hands begin to tremble, your face gets warm, and you may begin to lose control of your emotions. Go ahead and open your eyes. Have you ever experienced a similar scenario in your own life? I can say I have struggled with this before. It's extremely common to not only struggle to be your own authentic self, but to believe in that authenticity. I know what it feels like to question everything about yourself. Most importantly, I'm familiar with the disappointment that occurs when you realize you're not good enough for someone or something. But this is not a teenage phenomenon. It exists amongst many people of all ages and all backgrounds. However, in the last year, I've experienced truly accepting myself for who I am, faults and all. I have stopped apologizing for just being me. It feels great, and I have lost some friends because of it. But were they ever really my friends at all? I've now gained new ones that like me for who I am. So how did I do it? Well, it's hard at first, but I began to find joy in my life that felt real. And I realized that more joy came, the more true I was to myself. And that's what I hope for each of you. If you believe in and live out your true self, you will find more joy. This isn't easy for anyone, but opting not may lead to mental illness, including depression and anxiety. Many people act differently around others to feel accepted. They worry that if they don't act a certain way, that they may be left out. But this isn't necessarily true, and keeping up facades is exhausting. Pretending to be someone else causes people to feel unhappy. It grows insecurity, causes internal battles, creates resentment, and decreases trustworthiness. This leads to an increase in depression and anxiety. According to the Pew Research Center in 2017, 13% of U.S. teens ages 12 to 17 said they experienced at least one major depressive episode in the last year. Further, the National Institute of Mental Health states that nearly 1 in 5 U.S. adults lives with a mental illness. Many times, our actions place us around people that are not really invested in us. For example, many students may think they're involved in a friend group, but are actually in a clique. In an article by Catherine Hofsas, PhD, for Kids Health, these groups are defined. The difference between a friend group and a clique is friend groups don't have to do everything together. They can have other friends and do other things outside the friend group, and their shared interests support for one another and do not cast out each other. Cliques have to do everything together, and there's generally a leader of the group that dictates everyone. If someone decides to have other friends or do other things outside of the group, they may face rejection or ridicule. So friend groups are so much healthier. The good news is there are many solutions to help people become more comfortable in being themselves. These solutions begin with yourself and include those around you. The best way to help others feel good about themselves is to connect them with people they trust. As a trustworthy friend, listen and use subtle notions to encourage your friends to find their own self-worth. Amy Eva shares in Parenting and Family magazine that things like encouraging exercise, helping people refrain from comparing themselves to others, capitalizing on everyone's individuality, teaching self-compassion, inspiring people to help others, especially strangers, are all ways to help people feel good about themselves in a genuine way. As a person, you also need to help yourself. If you aren't willing to take the risk to find your own self-worth, others probably won't be willing to help you. So take a note from above and start finding people to surround yourself with who genuinely care about you, are authentic in their own lives, or are just infectiously positive. According to the University of North Carolina Wilmington Counseling Center, self-worth is the internal sense of being good enough and worthy of love and belonging from others. This is not to be confused with self-esteem, which depends on external factors such as achievements and success to determine worth. But our mistakes don't define us. Actually, our achievements don't either. Self-worth goes deeper than that. The people you surround yourself with should also see your worth. You should be able to trust them and feel accepted. If there are people in your life that make you feel like you have to pretend and be just like them, they're probably not the type of people you should be spending your time with. A world where everyone believes in their true self is a happier world. Imagine what would happen to levels of mental illness if we all had people in our lives to lift us up instead of tear us down. Depression and anxiety would go down because unhealthy friendships would be rare, unfounded criticism would decrease, and enjoyment would rise. People would no longer have the anxiety of constantly trying to alter themselves. As in a friendship where I was always trying to be like another person, I worried constantly that that other person would find someone else to spend their time with. I was scared of being alone. That relation has fallen distant, but I have not fallen apart or lonely. I have friends who like me for who I am. I never worry they'll find new friends and ditch me because I know they like me just the way I am. This is such a freeing feeling, one that is possible for anyone who has the courage to be their true self. I truly think if you believe in your true self, embrace it, live it out loud, you will find authentic joy. It is difficult, but if everyone found positive people to surround themselves with, ignored the critics, embraced themselves with compassion, and found their self-worth, they would spread joy, and depression and anxiety would fade. For those that can't do it themselves, help them. Start by being positive and embracing a person. All it takes to start boosting someone's self-worth is a simple compliment. The Edna Burnett Pierce Preservation Research Center at the Penn State College of Health and Human Development states, quote, "Genuine compliments build relationships, improve communication, motivate people, and boost one's self-esteem and self-confidence." I encourage all of you to go out and do two things. First, for others. Try and compliment someone daily and be a positive support system for all the people around you. And second, for yourself. Ignore the critics and embrace yourself for all you are worth. Theodore Roosevelt once said, "It is not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by the dust, sweat, and blood." So I tell you, dare greatly. You are worth it, and so are the rewards.
Nice job. Very good.
Does anyone have any questions?
So I feel like, particularly if this is something that happens to people of all ages, it probably reoccurs as well. So now that you've experienced what you spoke to in your speech, how do you think you'll respond differently, like in college or as an adult?
I think after having that experience, I won't put up with poor treatment from other people as much because I know that there are other people out there who are going to treat me better and see that I'm worth being around.
How did you deal with the rejection initially?
It was hard. A lot of talks with my mom and just realizing that it's okay that that one friendship isn't gonna last forever because I have other great friendships and there will be more great friendships along the way. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.